students and lecturers from Universitas Airlangga and partner universities from Indonesia and abroad. Before we begin, it's good for us to pray together according to our respective religions and pray begin. Pray finish. Next, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our esteemed guest speaker, Professor Dr. Muhammad Iqbal Chaudhry. Professor Chaudhry serves as the Coordinator General of ICOMSTEC, Distinguished National and Meritorious Professor at the International Center for Chemical and Biological Sciences, Vice President of TWAS Central and South Asia, and Professor Chaudhry is also expert on the traditional medicine research and adjunct professor in the Department of Chemistry, Faculty of Science and Technology, Universitas Airlangga. We are thrilled to have him here to share his insight and expertise with us. Today's lecture will cover a topic of a great relevance and important to our field, the role of organic chemists in the era of globalization. And we hope this session will provide a valuable knowledge and inspiration for all of us. To officially begin, we would now like to invite Professor Muhammad Zaki Fahmi, SSE MSE PhD, the head of the Department of Chemistry at Universitas Airlangga, or his representative, to deliver the welcoming speech. And please join me in welcoming Professor Muhammad Zaki. To Professor Muhammad Zaki, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To all distinguished professor, distinguished guests, especially Prof. Iqbal, other colleagues, and also student that joining for this morning lecture. It is my pleasure to be here for welcoming, especially Prof. Iqbal, to give speech on this lecture. Welcome, and also thank you very much for Prof. Iqbal time. We know that Prof. Iqbal very good partner with Department of Chemistry in the Universitas Airlangga, because several times we have collaboration regarding for a lecture and also staff and student also. We hope that this event be special for us. Then, because the topic is quite relevant for organic chemistry and application for true application of the organic chemist. Yeah. So we hope all students can active, and also we hope it can be give insight more to all of you here, especially for student to how to understand how the application of the organic chemistry, especially for the chemists in organic contribution in the world, especially for Indonesia. Then, well, so behalf of Universitas Airlangga and Department of Chemistry, thank you, and sorry if any something that not prepared well, but we believe that Professor Nandi and team preparing this very well. We hope that all is fine, and then it can be contributed for we are looking forward for the collaboration regarding similar lecture with Prof. Iqbal and also partner from Comstec another. So again, thank you very much, and I welcoming again to Prof. Iqbal. Thank you very much, and enjoy for this morning lecture. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Good morning, my distinguished colleagues, friends. Professor Dr. Zaki, thank you very much for your kind introduction. Dear sister, Professor Nanek, Professor Alfinda, and many young people. I'm also grateful to our wonderful Master of Ceremony for starting this presentation. Very proud to be part of University of Airlangga. I'm glad that I've been associated with your university since last several years. And I'm grateful that you have considered me worthy of appointing me as a visiting professor. It's an honor to be part of a prestigious institution of not only Indonesia, but also the Muslim world. Now, my presentation would be very general, because I know that there are about over 300 audience from different backgrounds and different levels. And it's often not so easy to bring them on board, all of them with different and diverse backgrounds. What I will do is actually I will start with a very general discussion of what organic chemistry is and how it has contributed in human life, and then its role in sustainable development goal, and then move on to uh, how organic chemistry is practiced. What are the attributes of an organic chemist, and the major methods which organic chemists use in their research and development work. So let me share my slides with you. So you can see this beautiful flag of Indonesia with Pakistan. And as you can see that my association with the University of Sri Lanka and many other institutions are mentioned. And we're going to discuss about organic chemistry in general and its role in the modern world, globalization, and its role in human development. So I would be starting from the wondrous world of chemistry, what chemistry offers, and then organic chemistry, its fundamental principles and its contribution in sustainable and inclusive human development. Then, as an example of the research in organic chemistry, I'm going to talk about some key methods, and then nature as the biggest source of organic compounds. And perhaps if I get the opportunity, I would also give an example of our studies. Okay, I want to start this. This is my favorite slide, and this comes from the holy verse of our holy book, which says that end of his science is that he created you from dust, and then suddenly you were human being dispersing, and this is the Holy Quran. And if you look into what this ayah mentioned is stardust, the dust which has been created from this Big Bang, the directed, created, and orchestrated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we all are creation of this stardust. Young people, I would like to tell you that you are unique, sublime, and fortunate, and that you are created from stardust. You are bold, beautiful, and bright, and you inherit a great civilization and moving towards a great future. So you should be very proud of what you are, what you have been, and what you would be in the future, and that is what our religion wants us to be. And you are among the most fortunates of the world history. If you look into the world history, you would find that you have the luxury of learning, the joy of life, and wonderful utility of the modern knowledge which is offered. So celebrate that you are the fortunate one, and you make shukr and gratefulness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Celebrate what science and technology offers to you today. And I want to give you an example to begin with, and I'll then relate it to the science of chemistry. When my father was born back in 1940s, the average life expectancy of people at that time was only 49 years. People could live only less than 50 years globally. Our chances of dying at that time with pandemics like cholera and bubonic plague were 30%, So 1/3 of humanity were dying because of the diseases around them. And at that time, people must have suffered from basic food shortage, famine, faced hunger due to widespread famine. People didn't really have a ball of rice to eat. And that has led to short lifespan. Even a minor surgery before the advent of antibiotics could have killed a person. So infection was widespread and people were dying because of hunger, because of diseases, and because of many other factors. Today, the chemistry has responded, Science in general and chemistry in particular responded to the human needs of the past. Green Revolution, which included the development of new hybrid varieties of agriculture. Now there is no famine in the world today. If there is a problem, there is a problem of distribution of food, not the availability of food. Global life expectancy has exceeded 76 years. There are countries such as Japan where people are living over 87 years of life. And let me tell you that many of you young people would live over 100 years of productive life and even longer. And in this 100 years of life, according to Yuval Harari, you have to come back to universities at least twice because you need to learn new skills. The skills which you have learned in your first phase of university life would be redundant and would not be required. So you need to go for a learning phase of multiple time. But happy that you would be living longer and productive. And see, antibiotics and antivirals are saving the lives of millions of people today. Even during the pandemic, which has affected the humanity, there was estimate that the humanity could have wiped out if there was no vaccine or no science. Within 11 months, over 200 vaccine candidates were developed against COVID-19 pandemic. This was only possible because we knew science and technology and science and chemistry of diseases. You know that it cost only less than $5 to save children from many fatal diseases. The cost of basic immunization, basic vaccines, full life protection. Now, if you look into the world today, you are connected. This is the world of globalization. 7.8 billion people are individually connected to each other. We are ready to land on Mars, life beyond the green planet. We are actually going into the other terrestrial objects. We are going beyond the galaxies and beyond the solar system. Mars is a very crowded place that so many spaceships are surrounding this wonderful planet. So we have really gone beyond the sphere of a green planet called Earth. Like biotechnology, which is based on the principle of chemistry, is growing organs from our own tissues, so-called regenerative medicine and stem cell. And we are moving towards the journey of eternity. Whatever the organ will fail, we'll get a new organ grown for us from our own tissues. So this is a wondrous world of today. Synthetic biology, because we understand the genetic code of life and we can manipulate and design synthetic life. We can design bacteria, we can design fungi, we can design plant and animal cells, which can produce for us chemicals, pharmaceutical, pigments, polymers, vaccines, whatever. They are our invisible slaves, and we have created these slaves based on our understanding. So, see, from 1949, today as 2024, chemistry played a central role in improving the quality of life and longevity. Not only that we are living better life, but we are living longer life. And that is where chemistry in particular and science in general has played a central role. Now, look into the fascinating world of chemistry. Chemistry is the central science for everything around us and inside us. Inside us, you imagine that entire life form. We are made of carbon molecules. Our DNA, our proteins, our tissues, and everything are, are chemistry, and that we understand partly, not fully, what is going on among us and around us. So chemistry is inside us and around us. So from feelings of joy, excitement, sadness, anxiety, everything, from health to diseases, all is nothing but an interplay of tiny molecules. Uh, and we now understand, fortunately, a lot of this chemistry of life. So chemistry is the fascinating world of life within and around us. And organic chemistry, which is the largest branch of chemical sciences and the most creative branch of chemical sciences, is the central core of these development. Organic chemistry is a study of the structure, properties, composition, reactions, and preparation of carbon-containing compound. Most organic compounds contain carbon and hydrogen, but they also contain many other elements. The field was initially developed and understood as the study of the compound produced by living organisms, plant, animals, marine organisms. But then it has broadened to include human-made substances. Now, many of your teachers and many of you can synthesize molecules in your libraries, molecules which have never been designed, envisaged, and seen before. And this is the definition of American Chemical Society. So see, organic chemistry is designing, imagining, manipulating the properties of molecules. And in the world of globalization, where people are interconnected, economies are interconnected, cultures are interconnected, organic chemistry plays an extremely important role. For instance, paper and pulp produced in one country is exported somewhere else. Essential oil produced in one region goes somewhere else. Pharmaceutical produced in Western Europe and USA are exported all around the world. So organic chemistry has linked the economies and culture. The global trade is largely based on, on organic chemicals, from oil to plastic and polymers, and everything which is made of out of it are just the miracles of organic chemicals. But what organic chemists do actually, what is their function? Being an organic chemist all my life, we design and synthesize new molecules never seen before. You know, that is the part of it. No one has imagined what those molecules would look like, but we have the capacity of designing and synthesizing. In our own little sense, we are synthesizing and creating new chemical space. whether pharmaceuticals, diagnostics, polymers, agrochemicals, food additives, colors, preservatives, you name it, they all are synthesized from nothing, from simple constituents of petrochemical raw material. We put them together, we assemble them, we know exactly how they would react, sometimes predictable, sometimes unpredictable. And we create new molecules which have never been created before us. Is an extremely exciting part of it. Think that you have created a molecule which no one has ever synthesized, and that is the exciting part of creativity and innovation which chemists have. And then we have the capacity to isolate small and large molecules, whether alkaloids, terpenoids, flavonoids from nature, or large molecules such as protein, peptides, nucleotides, and others from natural sources such as plants, marine animals, and plants. So we have the capacity of not only designing and synthesizing, but isolating what already exists in nature. And remember, nature is the biggest creator of everything, including molecular diversity. Remember that molecular diversity present in biodiversity is the largest reservoir of inspiring molecules. And of course, organic chemists study life. My own colleagues try to understand diseases at molecular level, why we age, why neurodegenerative diseases takes place, what are the factors which eventually lead us to age and die, what are the basis of various diseases, and how can we prevent them. So think that the understanding the life in its profound meaning is what organic chemists do in their laboratories every day. And that is the fundamental understanding which eventually lead to this fascinating world of pharmaceutical, medicinal, and diagnostic sciences. Thus, organic chemists play a central role in improving the quality of human life. Not only human life, but life of livestock, biodiversity, and environment around us. We are all interconnected. We are one of the many species which God has created, and we have a role to protect and sustain what exists around us. And I want to take you to this fascinating goals. Years ago, when all humanity, human leaders, they all sit together in Paris and decided to set for themselves sustainable development goals. And these are inspirational goals. These are the goals which leaders have set for themselves and for their nations. And they wanted everyone, not only the rich nation, but all nations, rich and poor, they should all be able to have inclusive and sustainable development. And these 17 goals are called sustainable development goals. Now, the question is how chemistry can play, particularly organic chemistry can play in achieving those goals. We have promised that by 2030, every nation will achieve no poverty. Of course, there would be no poverty. How would you achieve it? There is going to be no hunger. Everybody would have a balanced and sufficient diet to live on, good health and well-being, quality education for every child, gender equality, men and women should have equal right, clean water and sanitation so our environment is clean. And then then affordable and clean energy for everyone, because energy has nexus with water, with food and everything. Decent work and economic growth, industry and infrastructure. Uh, we need to reduce inequalities both among genders, people, communities, and nations, and then sustainable communities. Uh, and then responsible production, because industrial processes are the major culprit in polluting the environment and making climate hostile for us. We need to take climate action. We need to make sure that we are not the last generation to live on. In fact, we should be the first one to make the difference. And then life below the water, because water is the life, and life within water sustain that complex ecosystem in which we live in, and life on the land. So there are so many sustainable development goals, and every nation is committed to, work to achieve them. Let me just take you to some of the sustainable development goals in which organic chemistry can play a very important. Hunger is the biggest menace. This is the key core central issue, that people should not really be food insecure, that should have enough food and good quality food for them to live on. Food is not only important for people to be healthy, but also extremely important that they should intellectually and physically grow. Every child has the basic fundamental right to a right food. And SDG 2 is one of the most important goals for all nations to achieve. All nations have committed that they would have no hunger. Now, question is how chemistry can help in achieving zero hunger. Organic chemistry interface with biology can help in achieving food security. How it can do that? We produce sufficient food. Can we increase the shelf life of the food so it can be preserved for the time when they are not produced, or can be exported to the places where that food is not available? Organic chemists design new preservatives which can increase the shelf life of food, improve food production by designing new agrochemicals, pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers. Organic chemists can help in improving the food production to manifold. Green pesticides. We know that pesticides have played an extremely important role in deteriorating one of the most important fundamental book, which was called Silent Spring by David Rothko in 1969, was the first book which mentioned about the damaging effect of pesticide, because the birds were dying and spring was silent. So pesticides are extremely dangerous. Can we produce green pesticides, biodegradable and environmental friendly? Organic chemists can do that. Uh, Organic chemists, by understanding the genetic code of life, can design new seed varieties, both hybrid and genetically modified. Organic chemists can improve the quality and safety of food, because high quality and safety food is based on how they are post-harvested, treated, preserved, and ensured that there is they are safe, hygienic, and basic sanitation, sanitary and hygiene. Malnutrition. There are people in the world which are which diet, their postures is a major problem today. Can we fortify? Can we include vitamin A to avoid night blindness? Can we include vitamin D to have a proper proper bone structures? Can we include calcium? Can we include various kinds of other nutrients, amino acids, so the child get the nutrition, a nursing mother, a pregnant woman get proper nutrition, which is required. Improve fertilizers, so fertilizers which can help in producing more from less of the input and ultimately producing nutritious food and bioreactors. So not only in adding these cells which can produce meat and proteins, artificial meat and proteins in cell factories, organic chemists can help in achieving zero hunger. Is the wondrous world of organic chemistry which can help us to achieve sustainable development goals. And then ultimately think of the development of catalysts. We've already gone to a long way. There are various catalysts available. The day when they will become affordable, we will be able to convert wood and chitosanes and peels of fruits and leaves and barks and convert them into starch and glucose. It is going to be the final solution of food security, uh, final solution against the food scarcity. So think all of this is what is achieved by organic chemists in uh, in uh, in achieving the zero hunger, the sustainable development goal. And good health and well-being. Uh, SDG is the center core of health agenda for the world. Organic chemists can help in disease prevention and health promotion by providing better understanding of disease process at the molecular level. So organic chemist, which is the organic chemistry, which is the foundation of biotechnology, structural molecular biology, functional genomics, protein bioorganic chemistry, can understand disease at a molecular level. And when they understand the disease, they can help in prevention of diseases and promotion of health, and thus provide a better understanding of how one can really be healthy and prevent these deadly diseases. Organic chemists are working day and night to develop new effective drugs. There are many drugs which are available at the marketplace, but they only suppress the symptoms. They do not really treat the disease, and therefore there is a lot of room for organic chemists to develop new and effective drugs which eventually solve the problem of the disease at the molecular level. They are developing new diagnostics and preventive substances, nutraceuticals and others. Understanding the effect of hazardous chemicals. Around us, we are surrounded by chemicals which affect our life profoundly bad. So, understanding how these chemicals help, how these chemicals are badly affecting our life, organic chemists can do that. So they play an extremely important role and environmental impact on our health. And then organic chemists can help in developing agents which can regenerate our cells and tissues and providing the foundation of tissue engineering, which I mentioned in the early part of this presentation. Nanomedicine, a new world altogether, the world at the bottom where we increase the on-target efficiency of medicine. So we we can design new nanomachines which can deliver drugs on target, increase the efficiency and decrease the adverse effect. Organic chemists can help in achieving clean water and sanitation sustainable development. clean water is a basic fundamental human right. Water is available in most of the places, but it's not clean by virtue of the chemicals present in them, but also by virtue that they are mixed with sewage and other. So clean water and sanitations are together form Sustainable Development Goal 6, where organic chemists help in degrading harmful chemicals which are present in water bodies, uh, designing improved water purification technologies. Think of it that there are countries with no fresh water. There are oceans nearby. Can organic chemists develop affordable desalination membrane? Affordable, desalination membranes are present everywhere. But can they design desalination membrane which can be used at the domestic and urban levels? So the water, purified water is available, which requires less energy and less money to desalinate. Organic chemists can develop affordable technologies to remove pathogens, because lots of diseases are waterborne. About 60% of the infections are waterborne, less airborne, more waterborne or foodborne, but they're all waterborne diseases. Can organic chemists develop technologies which can remove pathogens? Organic chemists are already doing it. But can really be those become affordable for everyone? So Sustainable Development Goal 6 can be achieved. And then chemical for detoxification of sewage industrial waste. There's so much of municipal waste goes into the freshwater lakes and in seas and oceans. There is so much of industrial hazardous waste. Organic chemists are designing detoxifying agents which can clean sewage water for reuse, recyclable reuse for plantation and greenlands, and industrial waste to be detoxified. They can be released into the water bodies without much of a repercussion to marine life. So in many Sustainable Development Goal, organic chemists have a central role. You all are capable of contributing in improving the life of people and achieving these inclusive and sustainable goals. Think of affordable and clean energy. If we do not have energy, there would be no education. Child would not be able to read in the night. The energy is related to desalination. Energy is related to pumping water out of deep wells. Energy is related to health equipments, diagnostics, hospitals, everything. Energy is related to agriculture. So there is an energy nexus. Energy is nexus with food and water and health. So everything is related to energy. If you don't have energy, you cannot really use modern tools. No matter the world has developed AI tools or robotics, but if you don't have energy, your child will never be able to benefit from that. Energy is not available, your child will not be able to use laptops and others. So see, energy is extremely important, and that is the reason that affordable and clean energy has made a sustainable development goal. Now, affordable, understandable. We know that everybody should be able to afford energy for the daily use, but clean, we don't want to use fossil fuel. Fossil fuel is the main culprit of greenhouse gases. It is the reason of climate change. So can we produce energy from renewable sources? Can we produce energy from water? Can we break water and make a hydrogen-based energy cells? Can we have carbonless energy source? Can we convert biomass into clean energy? Can we convert oil into biofuels? Can we use small, tiny fungi and algae into biofuels? So there's so much of what organic chemists can do and are doing. Organic chemists, in brief, can help in designing new materials for renewable energy systems. They can produce carbonless fuels. They can produce bio-based fuel. They can produce better energy devices, storage devices, which can be used, which can store energy for the time when it's not available from sun or from other renewable sources. So organic chemistry has a central role in developing affordable and clean energy and achieving sustainable development. And this is very important. See, the industrial processes which we use today were developed during the colonial time. Renaissance industrial revolution in Europe was largely based on unimaginable, unhindered, uncontrolled, and unlimited in their own understanding, the raw material which was coming from Malaya to Indonesia to India to Madagascar to Africa. And they had no respect that these oil or rubber or cotton or whatever can be limited. So they developed industrial processes which were absolutely irresponsible, which were wasteful, which were producing less from more. And now is the time for us to change the paradigm. It's time for us to go for responsible consumption and production. Not only that, the world is consuming a lot, but at the same time, they're producing in a very irresponsible manner. And this is sustainable development goal that we should be able to miniaturize. We should be able to consume less because this is all coming from finite sources. These sources from rare earth to oil, everything has a limitation that we can not only consume many worlds to produce what we need today, because our next generation would need them as well. So for sustainable development, it is critically important that we invent and redefine the industrial sector for future. Organic chemists can play an extremely important role in sustainable industrial processes by designing new chemical reactions which consume less energy, water, and material. By designing catalysts which produce more from less, and minimize the waste of all kind. Organic chemists can develop a new paradigm from cradle to cradle and zero waste and cyclical production. So it's not that there is a waste. The waste of one industry is a raw material for the other industry, and that can only be achieved by using good quality chemistry understanding. A lot more are related to organic chemistry. So miracles of organic chemistry, most exciting among all limitless potential of organic chemistry is to rewrite genetic code. My colleagues produce enzymes and various biochemicals by modifying the genetic code and encoding them into vectors. There are people who are rewriting synthetic life. That 20 years ago, a new bacteria was designed, which was de novo, which was never synthesized before. So synthetic life form are already existing. This is the miracle of organic chemistry. By using structure-based design tools, chemists have established a way of reprogramming of biosynthesis. Plant produce many compounds, but can we make them to produce certain compound more than others? That is rewriting the genetic code, so they reprogramming and directing the biosynthesis. and to produce essential building blocks of life by designing the organisms which can work for you and incorporation of these units of life into mammalian cells. So instead of producing pharmaceutical from a plant and harvesting them from the wild, why don't we just produce them in E. coli or mammalian cells or insect cells and modifying the conditions. So you can literally produce everything. And organic chemists are now affecting neurons, immune system, and regenerative system by particularly designing molecules which can regenerate those things. A Parkinson patient can be treated by creating a new cell type which produce dopamine into substantia nigra. And Alzheimer patients can be improved by providing them opportunity of regenerating some of their cells. Organic chemists form the basis of many disciplines, It's the basis of pharmaceutical and medicinal chemistry, food and agriculture chemistry, chemical ecology, environmental science, nanoscience. So organic chemistry, this is the new names and modern names of organic chemistry. Pharmaceutical and medicinal chemistry is organic chemistry, largely synthesis of molecules and drugs. Food and agriculture chemistry is organic chemistry. Chemical ecology in and around us, the environmental sciences, uh, the plants' ecology, biotic stresses, and all of it are organic chemistry largely. Environmental science is also largely organic chemistry because they are persistent organic pollutant, and nanoscience, the world of nanoscience. So there's so much of these which organic chemistry offer. And many new fields, I mean, there are fancy new names such as molecular biology or structural biology. This is organic chemistry. Genomics, functional genomics, biochemistry or bioorganic chemistry, or biotechnology or forensic sciences are based on the core principles of organic chemistry. Remember that you may be chemists with a different background, but organic chemists are the most desirable people to move from one discipline to the other because they understand life from the core. They understand how molecules interact with each other. They understand how their physical properties are. They understand how molecules communicate through covalent and non-covalent interaction. So organic chemists can adopt into various fields. Organic chemists can become molecular and structural biologists. They can go into metabolomics or proteomics. They can go into genomics and biochemistry. There are a lot of avenues open for them, and organic chemistry are very interesting, Organic chemistry defines how living systems function. This is what I understand. Biology tries to answer why they work, why we reproduce, why we grow old, why we die, why we get sick. But how it happens at the molecular level is the field organic chemistry which defines it. So together, organic chemistry and biology answer some of the most enduring questions of life exist in and around us. And, drug discovery is an excellent example of various aspects of organic chemistry combined with biology. So this is the fascinating basis of organic chemistry. And take the example of a nano world. You see, you have this periodic table developed by Mendeleev. Periodic table define the physical chemical characteristic of every element. Gold supposed to be silver, gold supposed to be shining yellow metal, silver supposed to be shining white metal, and sulfur supposed to be a yellow amorphous, and phosphorus supposed to be. So there are so many of these properties which we know about the elements. The fact is that entire periodic table has to be redefined, because when you reduce them to the size of a centimeter, and this become altogether a different world. They have different properties, they behave differently, surface increase, chemical properties are changed beyond recognition. And at that point, Mendeleev chips doesn't work, because gold is no more a nanoscale. It can be a powder which look more like a black powder. So the same elements are redefining. And then when you put them, assemble them into nanoparticles or nanomachines or nano deliverables, they can do many things. They can be excellent industrial catalysts, they can be carriers of new medicine and diagnostics. They can be used for the treatment of cancer because they carry radioactive material to the cancer cells, and so many of it. So this is what organic chemistry offers. And this is so wonderfully beautiful today and future. We can do a lot more. We can print organs, we can edit genes, we can design computers by using polymers and plastics of different kind, and others. Organic chemistry can form synthetic life form. A lot can be done. Chemistry in general contribute towards that. And if you look into the nature, the organic chemistry of nature, nature is the biggest source of organic chemicals. So, phytopharmaceutical, they have been since ancient times, are sustained. Our life has been sustained. Our health is protected by molecules which are isolated from plants, phytopharmaceutical, nutraceutical and health supplement, cosmetics, facial substances, fragrances and perfumes, raw material for modern pharmaceuticals, pesticides, herbicides. I think someone mic is on, or there is an echo somewhere. So pesticide and herbicides, spices and culinary herb, honey, they all value added natural product. These are organic chemicals which help us to live longer and healthier, which help us to prevent diseases, which help us to look beautiful, which help us to feel better, recreational substances, uh, which help us to smell better, which help us to produce new pharmaceuticals, which help us to produce better crops, and then which add taste over food and calories. Indonesia is the largest hub of spices in the world, and honey from Yemen. And the world history has been written because of these organic chemicals. Why colonial power decided to come from Portuguese shore to Gulf of Malacca. Why East Indian Company came from British Isles to Eastern Ghat of India. Why they went to Malaysia and Brunei and many places in the world, Philippines or Madagascar or Maldives. They were in search of spices or rubbers or palm oils or cotton or whatever. So the world of nature has played an extremely important role in the history. They were looking for these exotic natural products which were not present. Let me just give you a brief of the global marketplace for organic chemicals. Botanicals, which is the term used for phytopharmaceuticals, 105 billion US dollar annually. The cumulative annual growth rate 6.8%. The market is going to expand to 2030 by 178.3 billion. So think that botanicals, if you are in the business of botanicals, you can earn billions of dollars. Perfumes and fragrances, you go in every airport and every place. You buy a perfume, a bottle in 200 USD. The global sale of perfume is 5.9%, and expected by 2030, the perfume industry would cost about 87.8 billion. Cosmetics, most of the cosmetics are natural cosmetics. They are ingredients other than some excipients and carriers are natural product, for 296 billion currently in 2023. The annual growth rate is 8.81, and it is expected to increase 1,435 billion by year 2030, 1.4 trillion USD. The cosmetics, the fastest growing. So be happy that people are spending more money on cosmetics. Nutraceutical, which people use for the prevention of diseases and for the feeling of wellness, 420 billion. The annual growth rate is 13%, and it is expected to reach to 868 billion by 2031. And medical cannabis, a new market which is coming up, which is just only last few years when cannabis is legalized in many countries. The current market value is about 57.818 billion. The annual growth rate is 22%, and cannabis business is going to be 444 billion by 2030. This is much larger than economies of 51 Muslim states. So think of it that organic chemicals and these natural products have tremendous value, and you just need to contribute and add value into it. So think that if you can convert those raw material into finished products which attract, unfortunately, we, the OIC member countries, are exporter of raw material. The real value addition takes place in North America and Western countries. They are the largest importer of raw material, where they have GNC or body shop, So they actually are the one who are benefiting the raw material sources. And this can only be done by science. And let me take you the example of how organic chemistry help in drug discovery and development from natural sources. And I will quote a very old article of Newman and Craig. Both of them are my friend from University of Illinois. And this says natural products possess enormous structural and chemical diversity that they cannot be matched by any synthetic library of small molecules. The chemical diversity is the outward manifestation of biodiversity. So the nature contains so much of these organic chemicals that it is unmatchable by any synthetic chemistry pursuit. Natural products continue to inspire new discoveries. They are inspirational molecules. They are the one which gives you molecular ideas. And based on them, chemistry, biology, and medicines are defined today. So even today, 40% of the medicine which are used in pharmacy are natural product or their derivatives. Natural products are evolutionarily optimized at drug-like molecules and remain the best source of drugs and drug leads. These are organic chemicals. So they are all organic chemicals. And now question is, how can you benefit, How can you take them out? How can you use your organic chemistry skills to to benefit from these tremendous organic chemistry of the nature? So the natural world is decorated with the huge number of plants, herbs, spices, etc. And they are global paramount importance. They are the resource of drugs. And medicinal plants are used for different therapeutic properties since centuries because of the presence of bioactive organic molecules. And natural products and their analogs have extensively been used for the treatment of various health disorders. So there are tremendous structural diversity which can be used for the discovery of drugs, which can be used for discovery and development of preventive substances. It can be antihypertensive, anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, anti-infectious, or even anti-aging. Resveratrol recently has been approved for the use. Metformin has been repurposed as an anti-aging drug. Both are natural products. And see, plants contain these organic molecules. And if you look into the structure of these molecules, these are truly fascinating, very different from each other. A lot of stereochemistry, a lot of chiral centers, the arrangement unimaginable. You can simulate molecules of all sizes and all shapes. You can't even think of what nature has produced. And this has been extremely rewarding because, from Taxol to artemisinin, from antibiotics obtained from fungi, uh, to compounds isolated from ginkgo biloba, ginseng, tongali, and others. These are the molecules which are now used for a variety of different purposes. And organic chemistry has been well endowed in terms of Nobel Prizes. Even in the field of natural product organic chemistry, there has been 36 Nobel Prizes awarded from various aspects of it. Even the most recent Nobel Prize to three scientists was prediction of proteins and their structure function. And it's all natural products, So it's not only small molecules, but peptides and proteins are natural products also. And they all are natural products. Question is, how would you isolate them? And that is where an organic chemist, in my understanding, what is organic chemist, which was developed by my old teacher, Professor Dr. John Clardy, when I was working in Cornell University. And he told me that organic chemists should have three attributes. A man cannot, or a girl or a boy cannot be called as organic chemists unless they have the capacity to isolate pure compound from complex mixture. If someone gives you a complex mixture of 200 compounds, a plant extract, or a environmental sample, or a food extract, or honey, or whatever, if you're capable of isolating pure compound one by one from that mixture, you become organic chemist 1/3. Okay. If you can determine the structure of those pure compound by using spectroscopy or by other techniques, you become organic chemist 2/3. And if you can modify the structure by using conventional organic synthesis or by biocatalysis to optimize their therapeutic, biological, pharmacological, physical properties, then you become 3/3, a full chemist. So think of yourself. If you are an organic chemist, you should have these three attributes. And these three attributes are related to three different skill sets, Capacity to isolate compound from complex mixture, classically crystallization, but chromatography now, capacity to determine the structure, crystallography and spectroscopy, capacity to modify the structure of a molecule to optimize the structure-function relationship is synthetic chemistry and biocatalysis. So you need to be master in all three disciplines in order to be called as organic chemist. If you can't do that, you can only be half or one quarter organic chemist. And that is where nature has given you the skills, Being an organic chemist, we and my colleagues in among the audience, very high quality top scientists, what they're trying to do is they are trying to isolate and develop those compounds into drug-like molecules by using chemistry, pharmacology, and clinical evidences, but most importantly, chemistry. Because how would you do pharmacology and clinical studies until you isolate or extract those compounds? So chemistry is the foundation of drug discovery from nature. Okay, having said that, let me just take you very quickly the research methods in organic chemistry. And by virtue of the complexity of nature, I took the example of natural product, because here you can see a real interplay of organic research methods, because nature is the complex mixture from where you isolate compound. Nature is the one which contains a lot of unknown compounds, so you need to get the structure. And those unknown compounds can then be used for various purposes. For that, you need to modify and optimize their structure. So there is no better way of understanding organic chemistry methods without understanding the natural product chemistry. So what we have done was that we have thousands of these plant extracts. We collected them from different parts of the country. And this is what we have done, in your own laboratories, this is what you are doing as well. Indonesia is one of the global hotspots. Indonesia contains 30% of the world floral diversity and 35% of fauna diversity. Indonesia, with its thousands of islands, is the real house of biodiversity. Only less than 6% of Indonesian flora has been extensively studied. A lot more has to be done. So you need to collect and authenticate identified plant material. Let's take the example of plant material. Plant material is, in its right form, is a solid material, and it contains many molecules, organic compound, and the whole range of polarity from non-polar to polar compounds, from medium polar, different sizes, shapes, and polarity, even charges, others. They need to be extracted. You cannot really work on solid material. You need to extract them by using appropriate methods. And then you need to purify them, by using chromatographic technique. And those pure compounds need to be checked for spectroscopy and get the structure on. And then you evaluate their biological activities. And if you're happy with the biological activities, try to optimize that, because eventually you want them to be developed as drugs, as food additives, as agrochemicals, as cosmetics, or whatever. So these are the stages which are critically important in organic chemistry. Let's start with the extraction of plant material. Okay, these are fundamental things which I'm sure that for many of you are boring, but just for the sake of young people, this is what we do. People start using when this invented the natural product in terms of extracting molecules from nature. Infusion, decoction, reflex, oxalate, ultrasound, microwave, supercritical. from very simple to relatively more complex, expensive, and demanding, from very simple to even more complex and high-yielding methods. So maceration is a very simple thing. You have organic solvent or water. You put your plant material, leave it for a while, agitate. You don't need to heat it, nothing like this. You filter it. You get plant extraction. You get extract of solid plant material. A good method, Good method in a sense that it doesn't really degrade your thermally labile compound, but it doesn't really give you a lot of yield because it's that the method has been only superficially extracting compounds. You generally use ethanol and water. This is what people are using in making smoothies and various kinds of sherbets and all that. Then there is this is maceration. You can see that this is olive oil, olive plants. You just add them into water, you get the extract, you analyze them, and you get various. Infusion is slightly different. You have plant material in organic solvent, and you infused. You increase the temperature, such as boiling water. This is how you make tea. This is how you make coffee. And that gives you a better extraction because heat increase the kinetic energy of the solvent and interaction between plant material and solvent increase thus. And as a result, you get a better extraction method. This is what people are using to make various kinds of teas, herbal teas, and coffees, and Luca coffee or whatever. Decoction is more of an infusion, but in this case, you heat, you get the extract, but then extract is reduced in volume, 1/4 of it. And this is most of the physicians, the traditional healers are using. And that is what you would like to do because you cannot really deal with liters of solvents, so you need to decrease the solvents to a level. So you go to pharmacy shelf and you find these cough syrup, herbal cough syrup or whatever. These are decoctions, because they've been extracted on large volumes by heating, but the volume has been decreased by evaporation method. It's a very simple method, but then reflects, why don't we just put the plant material reflects that and recycle it? Because every time the solvent goes up, is condensed by cold water, come down, and this extraction goes on for hours. And you get a better extraction because not only the heat, which is increasing the kinetic energy, but also the solvent is recycled, and again you get better extraction. And the same reflex was then converted to Soxlet. Soxlet is a method in which plant material is separately placed, and then the extract is not mixed with the solvent because with the plant material because constantly the solvent is going up and collected both down and also in this thimble. So you can carry out for hours and for days. But there are good methods for extraction, but they are not only so good for those compounds which are thermally labile, They're not good for fragrances, non-polar, volatile constituents. They are not good for any compound which can break because of heat. And for that, there are new methods we develop. Why don't we just don't heat and just use ultrasonic waves? By using ultrasonic waves, you increase the kinetic energy of the solvent and in the extraction risk. By using ultrasonic method, you can increase the extraction without heating it. So this is what has been used. And microwave. It's not a kitchen microwave, so don't really attempt to use extraction from kitchen microwave. These are specially designed, explosive-proof microwave ovens which control temperature which control the microwave energy and which are explosion proof. So here in this case, microwave, which not only agitate and increase the kinetic energy and partition capacity between the two solvent and solid which is your plant material, and solvent which is your extracting solvent, but also heat, so you get heat and extraction. This is my ultimate favorite, though it's cumbersome and expensive, but here is a supercritical fluid extraction. In this case, you don't really use organic solvent. The problem with organic solvents are they're often toxic. They're expensive. Disposal is a problem also. And if by any chance you have traces of organic solvent remain in your extract, which someone is consuming, then you create a toxicity. For instance, you don't want people to have want people to have methanol in their decoction, or you don't want people to have acetone in there because these are hepatotoxic. So Soxlet is this oxide exists in carbon dioxide. I mean, there is also a gas. But somewhere between dry ice and gas, there is a supercritical phase, which can be achieved by using a particular temperature and pressure. When you condense carbon dioxide gas at a particular pressure and lower the temperature, you can convert that into a liquid. I'm not using the word called solvent, but it is by virtue is a solvent, but it's a supercritical solvent. Very interestingly, depending on the pressure and temperature, you can convert carbon dioxide into various kinds of liquid and various kinds of polarity solvent. So it's not only one solvent, but in fact, you can create various kinds of solvent depending on supercritical condition. And you extract. So you can see that this is the carbon dioxide cylinder. It goes into the extraction. Compressing supercritical phase is extracted, it's recollected, So you can recollect. And the good thing is that once you get the extract, if you don't want to use carbon dioxide again, you just put it in the open and carbon dioxide evaporate. No traces of any solvent remain, no liquid. So it is what eventually give you an excellent extraction, because where you get recycling of carbon dioxide, and this is an excellent method for all kinds of non-polar compound or a polar compound. It gives extremely high yield, and it can be scaled up to the industrial level. Now you need to fractionate because your extract contains hundreds of now these compounds can where polarity, are very polar, full spectrum of polarity, and you can fractionate them by using various solvents. So you dissolve your extract into water, and then you extract it with by solvent partitioning by using, hexane, ethyl acetate, acetone, methanol, any solvent which is not miscible with the aqueous layer. Even butanol, which can give you very polar compounds. And thus, these hundreds of compounds which are present in extract can be fractionated into various groups, non-polar, medium polar, all these. We do it every day. This is a very common procedure. Now they are easy to be handled and purified by photographic techniques. And the simplest was the test fit was the first one who developed this. He was trying to develop inks from plant pigments, and he used paper chromatography, but it was later developed which is a thin sheet of a metal, glass, or plastic, and it has a thin layer of silica gel or alumina or agarose or whatever. You can separate them. So there are always two phases, one mobile phase and other is still on TLC, but also on and identify compounds. So I can show you one important diagram. Or HP. It is then goes directly into NMR, mass, IR, ICP, and a part of it goes into 96 well plate. So you not only separate them, but also identify them because the spectral data can be meshed with various kinds of online databases. And also at the same time, you can evaluate the biological activity because your compound goes into 96 well plate. And there are various techniques. They're fast and accurate, high degree of automation, and hyphenated because there is a chromatographic technique and mass spectrometer and a spectroscopic technique. Hyphen means that they are presented with hyphen. There are two different species altogether because isolation techniques are different, spectroscopic techniques are different, and interfacing is required in order to understand, in order to make these two different species of equipments working together. And there are a lot of techniques like GCMS, which is used for separation and identification of volatile constituents. Gas chromatography separate the mixture, mass spectrometry identify that, and this together become GCMS, and there is a hyphen in between. And of course, data which is coming out of mass spectrometer. Mass spectrometer is serving as the detector. So these are important research methods in organic chemistry. Similarly, you see the example, even from a one leaf of a plant, you can separate compound and identify them. So one leaf of a compound, you can get these non-polar compounds separated. HPLC, where you can, separate compound on the basis of polarity in liquid chromatography and then analyze them with mass spectrometry. You can also have LC-NMR. You can have LC-NMR mass spectrometer. So there are a lot of different techniques which are available as hyphenated. And eventually, at the end of the day, you need to identify this structure by using spectroscopy. Spectroscopy is a group of techniques which is based on interaction of light with matter. Either interaction is absorption, emission, and scattering. And there are various kinds of spectroscopic techniques which are based on this long range of electromagnetic radiations. Each one of this radiation has a particular radio frequency and thus in an energy, and therefore it matches with certain thresholds of molecular structure. You cannot see the molecules. Molecules are extremely tiny. Only recently cryo EMs are developed, but even the resolution is not available at atomic level. But in all such cases, you use various lights, source infrared, UV, microwave, radio waves, X-rays, and these light electromagnetic radiation provide various kinds of information about the structure which you have. So there are various kinds of spectroscopic technique. The architect is very simple. there is electromagnetic radiation. If it is IR, then it's infrared. If it is UV, is UV light, visible. If it is radio wave, then you get NMR. But in that case, you need to have a magnet, because without magnet, you will not be able to record. I will give sometime a lecture on NMR. This permanent magnetic field is extremely important in order to create energy levels which can be used for absorption of radio frequency. Then you analyze and detect. And this detection, this absorption, emission, and scattering is used for getting information about the molecules they are in. So there are various types of spectroscopic technique. All of them are essentially similar, that you have different radiations and you get different information. Architect is simple except NMR, in which you need to have a magnetic field. And my apologies that I do not really think that I'll be able to indulge and delve into NMR spectroscopy, but this is what I would be, inshallah, presenting to you in my next lecture. It is a very, very fascinating field. We have been working in this field since long. I think we know some concepts and applications, but let me just show you NMR spectroscopy is used for natural product, agriculture and biochemistry. You can understand what is there in your agriculture produced. Drug discovery and development, you can look into palm oil and other oils, their quality. You can see vinegar, honey, vegetables. You can image various kinds of nuts and dry fruits. You can look into the honey, because honey is a priced natural product. And you can see whether it's a fake honey or is a natural honey. You can look into lycopene in tomatoes. You can see coffee, whether it's a Luca coffee or is a Ethiopian coffee or is a Colombian coffee, because the chemistry is slightly different. And tea, what kind of tea it is, what kind of fermentation it has gone through, and berries and meats and all kind of it, So, and of course, medical imaging, the water proton NMR spectrum of the brain, water gives you diagnostics. So, a lot of it. And with this, I would like to thank you. I know you must be very tired. I'm absolutely not tired. I can teach another 1 hour. I'm happy that I was able to interact with you. Let me acknowledge my colleagues who have helped me to develop this lecture. Professor Dr. Atiyatul Wahab, Professor Dr. Summer Yusuf, Professor Dr. Humera, Professor Dr. Hina Siddiqui, Humera Zafar, and many more. And they all have contributed. And of course, our teacher, Professor Dr. Atar Rahman. Thank you very much. Looking forward to see you next time, inshallah. And if you have any question, I'll be happy to respond to you.
Thank you very much, Professor Choudhury, for the insightful presentation. Allow me to briefly highlight a few key points from today's topic. First, we should note that organic chemistry has much contributed in central role of human life in improving for the better life, even the longer life. For example, in the past years, vaccine has saved our children. It is important to mention that the world today is connected to everyone on the globe and also connected to the history. Secondly, organic chemistry focuses on studying carbon-containing compounds, including their structure, properties, and reaction. Every disease, their medicine, even something that is in our brain, there's nothing but some tiny molecules. Finally, an essential point is to remember is organic chemistry can play a role for the sustainable development goals, especially for zero hunger, good health and well-being, clean water and sanitation, and many more. Due to time constraints, we regret to inform you that a Q&A session will not be possible. With that, we are now nearing the end of today's program. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to the presenter for their excellent talk and to all of you for your active participation. Now I'll hand it back to our MC, Agesna, to continue with the remaining program. Thank you, moderator, for the summarize, and thank you, Professor Chaudhry, for the insightful lecture. Next, we will have the presentation of a certificate of appreciation to our guest speaker, and we invite the moderator and Professor Dr. Nani Siti Aminah, the RAMSE, and kindly proceed with the presentation. And I ask for the participation, turn on the camera. For the presentation certificate of appreciation to Professor Chaudhry and Professor Nani, please prepare yourself to the camera. To the committee, please proceed and please get Professor Chaudhry and Professor Nani to pen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the master ceremony. Professor Iqbal, we know well that you are so busy, but you taking the time for us. So thank you very much. On behalf of Universitas Erlangga, we send the certificate for you that our dean has sent the best regard also for you. This is the certificate that our student create for Professor Iqbal. Hopefully, we will have next lecture that with the interesting like today. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih and shukriya. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Iqbal. We send back to the MC.
Thank you very much, everyone. Jazakallah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, Prof.
Okay, thank you for moderator and Professor Dr. Nani Siriamina. And before we conclude, please remember to sign the attendance list by scanning the barcode displayed on the screen. We wait until 12:05. For the participant can scan the barcode. The proof is the screenshot of today's meeting.
Yeah, MC, please inform that the certificate will send by email to all of the participants.
Okay. And for the certificate for the participation will be sent later to the email. And you can wait for 2 weeks. Okay. Okay, and with that, today's event has come to an end, and we extend the sincere gratitude to Professor Muhammad Iqbal Chaudhry for joining us and sharing his expertise. And thank you for you, all the participants, for being here. And we hope everyone has gained a valuable insight from today's session. Before we closing this event, let's pray together according to our respective religion, and pray begin. Pray finish. And I am Agisna, your master of ceremony, signing off. My apologies for any mistake in my speech. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.